All right, hop a day, everybody. Welcome to another amazing story right now. I was absolutely touched when members of the class of 1968, the All Island class of 1968, reached out and said we would really, really like for KUM to help us get the word out. And I jumped at the opportunity. We have here Thelma Hechanova, who graduated in 1968 from the States, but I have since found out that in my beloved Simon Sanchez, before it was a high school, she was one of the first teachers when that school actually formed. So Thelma, thank you very much. You set the
Today.
foundation.
Thank you.
Okay, we also have Marilis Beneventi, who is Academy of Our Lady of Guam, class of 1968. Marilis, very welcome to see you.
Thank you.
Okay, and of course, what would any reunion be without several Islanders? And representing JFK High School, Carl Dominguez, was it? Were they the Islanders back then, or was it JFK Gold and JFK Green?
Uh, I don't remember. It was JFK.
Oh, there you go. I think GW at that time was Geckos and Warriors, right? Or was it
Okay,
GW Purple and GW Gold? Yeah.
yeah, GW Gold, yes.
There you
Sure.
go.
Yeah.
Okay. So 1968, Carl and ladies, was such an interesting. I had to look this up. The number one song in 1968 was "Hey Jude" by the Beatles. The number one movie was 2001: A Space Odyssey, a personal favorite. But maybe talk about, and Thelma, I'd like to start with you. Talk about what it was like to go to school on Guam in that time. I mean, it was a very, very turbulent time. That was the year also that Martin Luther King was assassinated, that Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated. So what was the time period being a high school senior?
Okay, I remember. I remember the military trucks going down Marine Drive, transporting the bombers to Anderson. I remember the gray buses that our military counterpart. I'm having some. Sorry, I had some interruption.
No problem.
Yeah, so the military presence, and then having friends and relatives who were signing up for Vietnam, some losing their lives during that part. That was in our consciousness. I remember classmates throwing parties, family parties to thank and to invite the military, those who were in the military. Their presence in Guam was pretty obvious to some of us. And
Carl, how was it like for you going to school in Upper Tumon at that time?
I do remember the split session, but the other thing I really remember about JFK at the time was the number of military kids that were going to school there, quite a bit from Anderson. I'm not sure Navy came, but I remember Anderson. There was a lot of stateside classmates in the school. And of course, I remember the building. I remember the teachers. I remember the courtyard. I remember fun things like the slave auction. That was a fun thing to do, and other activities. And we would have the band come in once in a while. A band come in once in a while and perform in the courtyard. And just overall, I have fond memories of my high school years there.
Very nice. And Thelma, how about you? Any remarkable senior year memories?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was back in the States, so I was in California. So because Vietnam is closer to Guam, I really did not experience a lot of the things that was going on here with a lot of our classmates. So I went to a school that's very close to, close to the ocean. So we had a lot of surfers in our school, and
You'll find many of those on any Guam school.
Right, and I went to a high school that was predominantly, at least 50% were Japanese. So these were people that were second generation Japanese because their parents and a lot of folks who came from Japan initially came into Gardena first. So I had a lot of Buddha heads in my class. So just lots of things, surfing, surfing type music, a lot of Motown, a lot of dances that were happening with a lot of the other Asian communities that were close to LA. So those were pretty big things.
Does it really, everybody, and please jump in as you see fit here. Does it really seem like it's been 55 years since you all, turned the tassels and, and went on, to adulthood?
Yes and no.
It is.
Before we talk about that, we actually had a small surfing population here. They were mostly the Caucasian students, the military students, but we had a pretty, I can remember Cindy Cariel. I think the Johnson girls from GW, they were surfers. So there was quite a bit of surfing population. There were a lot of Battle of the Band events, dances at social halls, the Battle of the Bands, the gang fights among the village gangs. That was pretty prevalent. But it was there were fun times. And so yes or no, I guess and no, sometimes we feel it, right? Like these past few months and the past few years, actually, we feel our age given all the stressors. But at the same time, we have some pretty spirited members. And I think part of the reunion and our monthly lunches keeps us focused on the friendships and the fun. And I think that keeps us young.
Well, could you tell me about that, Carl? Because, of course, the reason why we're all gathered here is the 55th reunion of the class of 68. So how many members do you have that are active that come to these luncheons and participate and have the fellowship? And, and what are some of the activities that you've got planned?
Well, typically we meet once a month. And over the years, the nice thing is we do get together, but when you have the big events like the mega reunion, it's an opportunity to really try to gather. An effort is made to gather as many of the graduates together in one room, in one venue, so we see each other. But typically, when we have lunch, get-togethers, it's maybe a dozen to 20 of the graduates, so it's not that big. And then the other thing is with classmates, you often don't see them hardly ever. You might meet a classmate every other year, and then you might meet a classmate even frequently would be 2 to 3 times a year. But the reason for this promotion of getting as many graduates together or classmates together is so that we can be on the same room at the same venue and enjoy each other's company.
Right. Well, I got to tell you guys, my class of 92, we celebrated our 30th reunion last year. There's one of my classmates I haven't seen in like 7 years, and he lives like right down the street from me. So I can absolutely empathize with, I mean, it's life happens, as the young people say. It's, like things happen. But Thelma, you have got a wonderful this mega reunion that Carl was talking about. Can we talk about this all island? So if you are a member of the class of 68, all are welcome. But we really want to let people know about it so that they can spread the word around it and do make plans for being there on the celebration on August 26th. Right?
Well, all are welcome, and we're welcoming other people as well. The typhoon really took a toll on us, and so we welcome the opportunity to actually also have others join us. I've got a friend that just came in from DC, so I invited her to be one of my guests, and so I'm just focusing on folks coming that may not have experienced a Guam reunion or even a Guam get together. I want to get back to Marilus's input on seniors. I would tell you, from having lived in the States and now here, we really are blessed to have very active seniors here on our island. I mean, even beyond us, they're always up to something. And I can tell you in our particular class, we really have quite a group of people that actually gather at the pavilion at Chamorro Village every Wednesday.
Yep.
Because they're doing their dancing. They're going to probably be the best ones at the reunion because they already have it down pat. The cha-cha, jitterbug, you know, our seniors and our classmates, very, very active.
Okay, so let's
And
talk about
those types of things.
the venue. Of course, is going to be at the Hotel Nico. I thought going into this, I was like, okay, it's got to be at GW cafeteria because GW always wants to have it at their cafeteria. But unfortunately, that would be a wonderful venue, obviously. But it's going to be at the Nico, which is absolutely beautiful. But tell me about the theme, Marilis, please.
The what? The fee?
The theme, yes, please.
Yes, $55 per person. It's fairly reasonable because, again, the All Island group conducted, and Thelma could say more about this because she spearheaded this with Mary Taitano Caso, but they conducted a very successful fundraiser, which made it possible for us to keep the cost of a gala banquet down. And so $55 a person. Thelma, you want to say anything more about that fundraiser?
Yeah, it's going to be at the Tassi Ballroom. We're really focused on getting at least 130 people there. And we visited the venue again. There's really lots of amenities that Nico provides for us. We're going to have a photo booth, and actually the apparel that you have to wear, and I told my friends that are not 68 people, they have to come dressed like they were 68ers, bell bottoms.
So why don't you educate those of us who weren't members of the class of 68? What was the typical attire that if you were a senior in 1968 that you wore? And I want to hear about I want to hear about the jeans, the shoes, the hairstyle. Did you wear, what kind of jacket? Please break it down for me.
I can't talk about the hairstyle because mine's always straight. So straight
Carl, what kind of hair did you have in 1968? I'm thinking like the long Chamorro, like puppy one, right?
No, I had your typical, haircut, short hair at the time. That's just the way I was. And but I do remember the bell bottoms going up into before the senior year. But there was a lot of guys who wore something called the peg pants jeans, where they would sew the legs, the leg pants, so that they were really tight down to the ankles. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. So we went from bell bottoms in 1968 to skinny jeans in 2023. I will never understand that.
And
turtlenecks.
Turtlenecks.
I remember the turtlenecks. I did wear turtlenecks from time to time. Yes.
Yeah, and some vests. Of course, the ladies' empire waist hairdos that were bouffant, especially there were proms. They were really puffy.
Yep.
Ribbons, headbands.
How about the colors? Like what's the palette? Is it really like wild out there colors or more pastels or?
Just remember hippie and love power.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. We were raised Paisley.
That's true.
But there were also, there was also
or I guess you could wear army. You could either wear army surplus if you supported, like everything that was going on for Vietnam, or you could be, peace, love, and flower power.
Tie-dyed shirts or tie-dyed outfits.
And those are coming back. Tie-dyes are on their way back. My friend makes them all the time. Okay, so before I let you all go, because I mean this is a wonderful event, we're going to make sure to cover it for you because this is absolutely amazing. Congratulations to you and all of the members of the class of 68 for this amazing milestone. We can't wait to celebrate, on your behalf. I know it's going to be an amazing party, but what is the contact information, Thelma, if people have any questions whatsoever?
Okay, so actually, Marilis would be one. I would be as well. We're available on WhatsApp and Facebook. I've got a.
There is a Facebook
I don't
page.
know how
There's a
best to
Facebook
do
group, right?
this. I'm sorry?
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a Facebook group for the
Yes.
class of '68, right?
Yes, there is.
Facebook.
There is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we'll make
we're
sure to put the
putting
link
out the
in.
flyer, you know, lots of difference of us, a lot of us are putting up the flyer on our Facebook page so that you can contact us through that or WhatsApp. I have my own personal information, 671-482-0021. You can certainly contact me. So
I can give my numbers 619889090. And by the way, the Reagans are playing for us,
yes.
Ooh,
providing the dance music.
very
Yes.
nice. Okay,
And
well,
we have some small numbers that we're preparing as a group to do during
Okay.
that evening.
people don't need the Spotify playlist these days. Just give your request to the Radiance, and they'll take care of you.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Okay, so Thelma and Marylis and Carl, thank you so much for sharing this with us. And again, congratulations on this. Okay, good. Before we go, and I mean, everybody can wave goodbye. Let's do like a peace sign. 1968.
All right.
Peace. Congratulations once more.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.